Hello.
Hello, happy Goddess Chat Wednesday,
Yes, happy Wednesday or whenever it is you're
or
watching this,
whatever it is when you're watching this.
or whenever it is we're
You're on to
recording this.
YouTube. It's a different day.
Yeah, we were just talking about losing time and
Yeah,
so whatever day we show up,
we are grateful for you to be
we are
here.
here. Yeah, yeah. Well, what's going on? How's your heart today, Ramona?
Oh, I'm actually quite happy. I have, the beginning of the year came. I don't know about you, but you know, we spend January kind of exploring ideas and inspirations and working with the time of year of winter, which is that kind of resting and restoring and allowing ideas and inspiration to come in without the need to take any immediate action on them, but
Mm-hmm.
knowing that in divine order and time that action will be taken as we move through the rest of the year. So and actually winter in our natural calendar is the end of our year. So during this time, we're really kind of closing up the previous year's cycle. But so at the beginning of this calendar year in our world calendar, I offer an intention setting, and so I work with meditation and going inward and okay, what do I want to create for this year? What is it that I want to work with this year? And the word that came up, and we may have talked about this before, but my word for the year is discipline, which I can tell you in the past has been like, that's a bad word.
Yeah, I that's not part of my vocabulary.
Right. So I was just like, okay, I want to reframe my relationship with the word discipline. Right. And
Yeah.
instead of it feeling like it's a, something negative or bad, it was like, how do I want to reframe my relationship with the word discipline? And so when I really sat and leaned into what does discipline mean, it meant being committed to myself in
Mm.
whatever way my heart, my spirit is guiding me to be. And so, long story now, here we are, mid-February, we're halfway through the month, and we have about a month until we come into um, our new natural year, is coming into the spring equinox, and so all of this intention around discipline has been slowly beginning to show itself to me in what that means for me. And so one of the things is that I am in collaboration with a yoga studio here in town that is heated, which those of you who know me know that I am not a fan of hot yoga.
No,
And that doesn't,
when I hear hot yoga,
yeah,
your name does
right.
not
Does
come
not,
up.
does not come to mind. And it's not that there's anything wrong with hot yoga. It's just that for me, being a pitta kapha, I already have a lot of fire
Yeah,
that
yeah.
gets stirred up within me. And so the idea of putting myself in a place that feels like fire is very overwhelming.
It is.
But
Yeah.
but spirit is really like, and this actually started back in, I want to say December. I was called into that studio, and have been slowly acclimating to the different forms of heat. Like some of the heat is manageable for me, and then others are like my hair is on fire. So yesterday I decided, because I felt urged to do it, to attend a class that was 100 degrees.
I don't even like
And I
that when
walked
it's out
in
at the
with this
beach.
face. Like I walked into the class with this face, and they were like, is that your, oh, I'm going to hot yoga face? And I was like, yeah. And so when she asked us to set our intentions at the beginning of the class, my intention was to finish the class. That does not mean that I did everything that was asked if, that was guided to do. It just meant that I stayed on that mat for the 60 minutes that I agreed to be there.
Well, and there's your discipline right there.
Right. Exactly.
Your focus, your
So
commitment.
I came out of the class and I was like, okay, that wasn't so bad. I did rest when I needed to. I opted out of postures that were not in alignment with me, but that is what I teach. And so, that's what I'm going to do for myself. But I get home and I have to teach yoga last night at 7:30. And I was like, whew, I don't know if I have anything left in the tank.
But so neither of us, we didn't either.
Thank goodness I showed up to our online session, and my students were like, I really was just wishing we could do Shavasana the whole time. And I'm like, done. So we did a nice restorative yoga practice. It was lovely.
We were in Shavasana in all different ways.
Yeah. Then I woke up this morning and I felt like I was hit by a truck, and I really did not want to get up and go to my class that I had scheduled this morning, but I did. And I went in with sleep in my eyes because I was so tired. And so like I had detoxed so much yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
But now 3 hours, later, I went to my Pilates class. I went to another yoga. It was restorative in nature, not as hot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm finding myself a little bit giggly and silly. And so, that leads me to believe that I have some more firing up that needs to happen, because I think that because I am a Pitta Kapha, I can settle into that Kapha energy, which is really low to the ground. And it takes a lot to get motivated. And so it's a really interesting juxtaposition for me to be a Pitta Kapha because I'm either on fire or I want to go to sleep.
Well, that goes with your Gemini.
For me. Gemini, yep.
It just stands to reason.
That was the long answer to your question. I'm doing very well, but it's been an interesting observation of my life over the last few days, just watching what I'm being guided by my heart to do. And even with my ego's resistance, I'm like, okay, I'll go.
Yeah. Well, I think that's a good segue into when we talk about the tools to invoke the goddess.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We're talking about Aphrodite this month. And Aphrodite,
let me tell you what, heated class, talk about sensation, sensory overload.
Heat some stuff up. Yeah. And Aphrodite, I think of that word discipline, and she wouldn't know that word either, because Aphrodite is all about, oh, I like that, let me do that. Or, oh, I like that person. I'm all about whatever. And some may look at her as immoral in some of her actions that she took in the legend of Aphrodite, but really she was just really kind of what pleases you, and kind of do it. I mean, you don't want to hurt anybody in the process, but that whole what's joyful and what just feels intuitive to you at the moment. And I'm thinking of one of the tools I have written about in our Facebook page was dance. And that is one of the primary disciplines or rituals that people have used in the past to invoke Aphrodite and to honor her, is because, I mean, when you're dancing, you're using obviously your body, as an expression of whatever you're feeling. And I mean, it could be very slow and all that, or it could be uplifting. And I'm thinking more of like ecstatic dancing, where you've got the drumming, and they even suggest holding a tambourine and, some musical instrument that gives you that energetic vibration, and just do all of that. Maybe, put yourself in front of your altar and all those beautiful Aphrodite visuals that you have. And then with, nobody else around, this is just you. I mean, you can do this naked or whatever, celebrate you and just dance it. And
Yeah,
and
get into
then
it.
yeah, and then you can settle down and bring that energy in, and maybe, have a meditation or some sort of something that's intuitive to you. I've always, or sit down and journal those experiences you had in your body, because there's one thing that, and this came up in our goddess retreat when we first had the one here at the beach. We were talking about Aphrodite, and we were talking about our beliefs about our body, about our gifts, and how we were taught, or we were told in our younger years, either like, oh, you're too sensitive, or you're just too much, or yeah, you had some sense that your body just wasn't right. It just didn't fit the mold that you were taught, or just had the belief that you had to look a certain way, or right. And that you carry that through, and that's how we explored that, and that how can we overcome that, shed that belief, because it doesn't serve us any longer,
right,
and celebrate all just this body that we're in, however it shows up. And we give so much talk to body positivity and all that, but that's really what you want to celebrate that. And what better than just to get up and move? I mean, we did that in our last goddess retreat, and Sue led us in that beautiful ecstatic dance sort of thing.
Chakra
and
dance, yeah.
The chakra dance. Yeah. It was, and that was just phenomenal. So I'm going to do that. I did a little bit of that on the beach this morning. Honestly, I queued up a playlist that just, I don't know, I downloaded it and never listened to it. And I thought, okay, I want to play some music while I'm watching the sun come up. And I'm standing there, and this music was like, boom, boom, boom. Because I was like, oh, okay, this was not, oh, money, padme, right, it wasn't oming, but, and I thought, oh, okay. So I'm just kind of bopping along, and then I'm walking through through the sand, and just kind of boom, 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 thinking, okay, this is good. I'm going to go with this, because it really felt good. Yeah. And that's just something that it just felt good to do. Yeah. And
well, and whether you do this as Paige has suggested on your own, or you find
in a group. Yeah.
Like I found a workshop that I'm going to go to on Friday, which is part of this going to the heated class thing, is that I know that this class I'm going to Friday is probably going to have some heat. So I figured I should probably gear myself up for it. But it's a booty yoga. So it's going to be a flow and glow. So we're going to paint ourselves up and wear glow sticks, and it's going to be so much fun. And this is Aphrodite right here. It's like, how can you go and just like get out of your space, out of your head, and get into your body and just be in that joy of it. And so, I thought, well, this sounds like it's going to be super fun. So why not? Right.
Yeah.
And going to a drum circle and a fire pit and drumming and moving. And, when I lead drum circles, there's a point in time usually where my body's like, get up and move, because the energy in the body is needing that movement. Our chakra dance was amazing. It was really, really fun. And she really tapped into all 7 houses, and just, we moved and chanted and danced and had a great time.
Yeah. And all at our own way, and without any, oh, I'm not dancing like her, or I'm not, or,
well, we had a full moon.
Don't know how to,
ladies. So go jump out in that full moon and use your drums, use your tambourines, use your shakers, whatever, dance it out. Get with Mother Earth, dance it out. Let yourself feel the vibes of Grandmother Moon and go with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm ready. I'm gonna do I'm gonna do that now. No.
Well, we have our full moon circle, so maybe there's a call for some movement to come into our full moon circle this week. So if you
Yeah,
want to join us, come check that out.
absolutely. Absolutely. It's always so good to chat with you, Ramona.
And you, how was your heart today? We talked about
Oh,
mine.
oh,
How's your
my
heart
heart.
talking to you today?
Oh, my heart is so full. You and I had a beautiful conversation yesterday. I'm going to put on the podcast, and I am so joyful in the flow of this whole process. This is a part of me that yearns to be expressed, and the the podcast is my way of sharing the beach and my goddess energy or whatever it is with everybody. I was happy to see. I've been a guest on another podcast recently, and she just is publishing it today. And when we were talking, she says, you sound like Delilah. If any of you are familiar with Delilah,
I am. That makes sense.
she said, you should read this. She sent me an article, and I was laughing because it was a lovely article, I think from the New York Times or something like that. And and the picture of her, what I was like, she had long blonde hair, just like this. And she was like, and I thought, oh, that's me. I digress. I'm just really enjoying this. I, unlike you, had a little difficulty in January settling down and not feeling like I need to take these intentions and go with them now and do. I think retrograde helped me in that regard. And you reminded me, okay, this is the time to, we're just supposed to be settling down and do all that. And so I did. And the first podcast episode I'm dropping tomorrow or whenever this is, in divine timing, because I fully expected to have this done a month ago, but that, it wasn't meant to be. And I'm telling my story. I needed to take the time to kind of craft it so that I say is listenable, but that is authentic to me and the story and all that. And Ramona, I'll tell you, all those of you who are listening right now, Ramona was a big part of this story. So thus our sitting down and talking about it for another episode of the podcast, because I say I wanted to do all these things, and it wasn't like I had a fairy godmother to tap me on the head and say, your wishes are granted. But I had a mindfulness coach. I had a Ramona. So I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for this goddess group, for invoking the divine goddess. It's integral to my life and how I move through this stage of my life as I'm entering out of the the mother into the crone stage, and embodying some of that wisdom that I've garnered. So that's my long story.
Well, and I'm just grateful that we connected. It's all in divine order. We were meant to connect at some point in time in our lifetime, and this was it. So,
and a lot of our the goddesses in our group are making those connections with one another, and I love that. So those of you out there and in the group, and who know somebody that would benefit from connecting with us, and invite them to join our group. And we love all the gifts that everybody brings. They're all unique. And we co-create together. as the divine feminine does.
Yes.
We're not in competition. We are in
Yes.
collaboration.
Yes, goddess. Yes.
Yeah. All
Mhm.
right. Well,
Yeah.
have a beautiful day.
Yes,
everyone.
you too. And let us know what's inspiring you through Aphrodite.
Yeah. Yeah. Dance.
Mm. We will see you all